Good day, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to present CoStar services to you today. I may know many of you on the call, but for those that I do not, welcome, and please feel free to contact me. I'll share my contact information at the end of the webinar today. I am Todd Forrest. I'm in Greenville, South Carolina. I'm a 15-year veteran of CoStar as a senior director, and I handle North Carolina and South Carolina and national accounts for CoStar and for LoopNet. Today's purpose is to give you some highlights into how brokers in South Carolina are utilizing CoStar and LoopNet today. Many of you may be aware that CoStar has many other entities under our umbrella, namely LoopNet, apartments.com. We own the 10X auction platform. We own STR, also known as Smith Travel Research, which is the hospitality provider for data. We also own HomeSnap and Homes.com. Much info left to provide on the residential side of what CoStar will be doing into the future. Traditionally, we're known as a commercial real estate provider and marketing company. Today, I want to give you a preview of CoStar first. And after that, we're going to jump in and I'm going to show you a little bit about LoopNet. And if we have time, I'm going to show you LoopLink, which powers websites for commercial real estate information for many of our brokerage firms and EDC entities across the country. So to start off, I want to show you just some highlights of how brokers are using CoStar today in South Carolina. And we'll bounce around, you know, I'll do a Columbia, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, Greenville, and even some tertiary areas, maybe some Florence searches or Aiken, South Carolina searches or anything of that nature, just so you can get a feel for what we're doing, because CoStar is everywhere. It's not just in the markets. You can look at any piece of property anywhere commercially. So this is our homepage, and we do a lot of stories. We do some key marketing. These have LoopNet or 10X auction platform services with me on the right. So they're showing up on the homepage depending on where you are when you log in. And we're just, the homepage is basically informing everyone about commercial real estate, news, videos, what our economists and analysts are saying, international news. And then under that, we'll break it down to office, retail, multifamily, industrial. We do hospitality, of course. We track all commercial real estate property types, including land. Self-storage obviously falls under our specialty, which we do that as well. Many of my clients are actually self-storage developers. So just real quickly, let's say you wanted to do a search for lease in any area. So what we want to do is make this easy for you and just very quickly and pull up all the information you want to pull up. Now, CoStar is for commercial real estate professionals only. CoStar is not for the public. LoopNet is for the public. It's a marketing tool. Brokers are paying LoopNet, me, to put their listings on LoopNet so that the tenant and investor public portal world can see it. So I want to be clear, this is the broker portal. The public cannot have access to CoStar. We will not sell CoStar to them, nor they think you can log in. It's password and security protected. So let's say you're a broker, and we'll just give you a hypothesis here. And anywhere you want to look, so I'm going to just go in here and I can scroll in or out on the map, or I can just type in Columbia, South Carolina, whatever I want to do. I can look by market. I can look by zip code. I can look just downtown Columbia. I can draw it on a map. I can draw a line down a road with a width and say that that's where I want to look. For the macro view here, I'm just going to say Columbia market for lease. And if you'll look in the upper right-hand section, it'll tell you how many properties. So this is the number of buildings, and this is the number of spaces available in those buildings. But I haven't done a filter yet, right? So what are we looking for? Let's say we're looking for office. Notice every time I click a filter, the numbers are going to change up here. And then I can get very specific and say, well, I'm looking for 1,500 on the minimum level to 2,500 on the maximum level for office in the Columbia market. This is the result set. So it's going to change. It's going to pull up all the pictures, and I can click into one. And you'll notice this one is first. It's got the green line on it. It's a little bit bigger picture. This is because this listing is on a LoopNet signature ad with me, which means it also shows up first on CoStar. They're paying to come up first. So you'll see in some instances drones, 3D Matterports where you can walk around in the building like you're physically there, stats on it. Here is for lease, and this is on the 17th floor, 2,169 square feet. Now this was my search, right? Remember I did 1,500 to 2,500. There are other spaces below and above that available, and if I want to see those, I can. Pardon me. But for the search, it's only pulling up what I asked for. And if I click into it, it's going to pull up all the information. And obviously, we're going to see Mr. Henry Rowe as the primary contact for the listing, one of my favorite clients and a super nice person. So if you were interested in this, you could obviously call, email, get in touch with Henry. You can see all the details of it. You also could print a report out on this property. It's as simple as doing report and then you choosing what you want. I can show you mapping, demographics, just for lease information, underwriting report, brochure reports. There's many, many, many reports we can do. You can also throw it into Excel. But if we just wanted a lease availability report, it's going to pull up all the information on this property, and you can save it as an attachment or print it out or email it out, whatever you prefer to do. So real quickly, that's a simple search into CoStar for lease. Now keep in mind, there's a lot of tabs here, right? These are available in format, PDF format if you want to print them out, but we have demographics, we have traffic count. I'm so sorry. Got very slight summer cold here. If you want to see traffic counts, they're here, all in PDF form, but I can click on any of the tabs within CoStar and print a report or see anything that I want to see. Changes on this asset. For instance, did the brokerage firm change? Has the property management company changed? Have they added recent spaces for lease? Anything of that nature. The analytics, or how is it performing? Vacancy, absorption, who are the tenants in the building? Is it for sale? Has it sold before, and what did it sell for? Public record, right? So jumping out of CoStar now into the public record tab, and it'll actually pull up the public records for the property, census tract, long lap, parcel ID, any quitclaim deeds, sales, cell loan history, loans on the property, all kinds of information there. So there's a lot of info here at your fingertips, and you can understand why brokers utilize CoStar on a daily basis to find anything. Now, there are some variables to this as well, right? You may not want to look in the Columbia markets. You may want to look just downtown. You may want to look in a certain zip code. So let me show you how we can do that. My filter's coming back. I can just zoom in on the map if I choose to and just go wherever I want. whatever I want to do. I can zoom in. I can say, show me the zip codes. No, I actually want to draw it. No, I actually want to pick the submarket and just say Columbia CBD, which we have. So if you don't want to zoom in on the market, if you'll notice here, there are many filters by location that I can use, or filters in the search, right? I can say, show me a submarket, show me a market, show me a county, show me the state, show me a zip code. And then once I choose that, I can come in here and I can look for anything I want, right? I can even look for things in opportunity zone mapping. We have it all. There are layers in here, right? Where I can layer specific things in. I also can say, hey, show me national retailers, put the parcel boundaries on here, show me only properties in opportunity zones, show me where specific retailers are. Like if I want to zoom in on this area right here and I want to hit traffic counts, I can go to aerial as well. It's going to pull up all the traffic counts in the area. And you can click on to see the traffic count information. CoStar also has a traffic count report. I can show you where the shopping centers are. I can show you all the national retailers in that area, or I can look for just specific ones. You'll start to see the logos pop up and it'll tell you which ones they are. And of course, I can switch over to aerial if I choose to, whatever I want to do. So lots of functionality in the mapping, in the reports. If you're in the heat mapping, we have that also as well. So specific things you might want to look like median household income. And we have these in report feature, but if you kind of want to get a color code graph of where the heat mapping is, we have that as well. All right, so that was a search for lease. Now let's do a search for sale, right? Same thing, just search for sale. In this one, I'm going to go to Charleston. And I can do the market, I can do the city, or again, do anything that I want to. For this one, I'll just go city. And it's going to pull up everything for sale. Then I can zoom in. You know, maybe I want to look in the Mount Pleasant area. So I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to say, well, you know, this time I'm looking for a retail property to purchase. So when I click retail, watch what's going to happen. It's going to change up here to the right, and then it's going to give me all the info. And then I can click into any of them that I like, or I can get very specific, right? I can say, show me bank branches for sale. Show me fast food for sale. If I don't want to see fast food in general, I could just say, show me Chick-fil-A's for sale, or Wendy's, or Burger King, or Arby's, whatever I choose to. And again, then I can click into any of these properties, expand the map area if I choose to, look for things of a certain price range, right? So if I want to go in here and I want to say, well, okay, show me anything between 2 million and 5 million. And a lot of properties are for sale with, you know, just undisclosed sale prices. For sale, make an offer. Here's the offering memorandum. If you don't want to see those, you just uncheck the box. And these are the properties that are for sale within those filters. Again, I can click into it. It'll tell you how many days it's been on the market. It'll tell you who has the listing, where it is, what I may or may not want to see, offering memorandum, previous sales, anything of that nature. So this comes particularly helpful with brokers in South Carolina who aren't always just looking in a market. They may have a investor client that says, hey, I'm interested in buying some Dollar Generals. Can you show me all the Dollar Generals for sale with a 6% cap rate or higher in the state of South Carolina? We can pull that up instantly for you. This, of course, is a listing through Aaron England, who's a super nice guy and also a CoStar client. You can click in and see different information and what he has to provide through the different tabs, just like in for lease. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the CoStar homepage, and we're going to talk about sold comps. Sold comps are huge because I know you as brokers often get questions, what is my property worth? Okay. There's two different variables you can do for this. You can run a CoStar underwriting report, or you can run your own sales comps reports, completely up to you. If I go into sales comps, and for this one, let's go to Greenville. And we're going to do a comps search, right? Based on radius, whatever I want to do. If I want to do radius, I could type in an address, or I can just go to the map and just click and say, okay, here's a 3-mile grid right here. That's where I'm going to run my search. And it's going to pull up all the comps in there, right? By default, it's on last 2 years, but I can go back as far as I want. I can do 1 year, last 30 days, anything I want. And then I can click asset type, right? What do I want to select? Let's do multifamily. Okay. So it's going to pull up all the multifamily that's sold there, all of them, largest to smallest, right? Even mobile homes. I have to say apartments only, which is a filter we can do. So we can click into these and look at any of these. But so to throw any of these out, I'm going to say number of units. Don't show me anything that was under 100 units. Then my filters are going to change. And obviously you're going to see the lower ends dropped out. If I click into them, it's going to give me the deed. It's going to give me the loan. It's going to tell me who bought it. It's going to tell me who sold it. And when I say the loan only, of course, if it was financed, right? Some of these are cash sales. Anything I click into, it's going to tell me who they are, right? So if I want to know who this buyer is, not the LLC that is under the recorded buyer on the deed, we've actually researched the LLC and all parties involved with the sale, including the seller and the actual true buyers, Gamma Real Estate. If I click where it says Gamma Real Estate, I can see everything about their company within CoStar. I can go to their website. I can see all the properties they're associated with. I can see not only properties they own now, I can see properties that they sold off earlier as a previous true owner. If I just want to see true owner, I can just go here and select true owner. It'll only show me what they own right now. I also can go to the contacts tab, and you'll see this location, same market, all markets. It could be a big company, right? It could have like Blackstone. It could have 40 offices. If I want to see all the contacts for this company, I would click all markets. If I only want to see the contacts associated with this, I click here, and you'll notice we'll have their names, titles, email addresses, phone numbers, etc. So this is how you get contact information and sold comps. Here's the deed. This was financed. Here's the loan. All the information is here, right? So we can see all this information. If I want this report on this property, I'm going to go right here. If I want all the comps, I'm going to go back to my results set. And now I'm going to select reports, and it's going to pull up all 3 of these comps. Now, look how easy this is to filter within CoStar. I can say, well, you know, before I expand the radius, I think I'd like to see last 5 years of the comps. And as you can see, going to add a lot of properties to it, right? I also have the option of throwing in for sale, and I can see sold and for sale, or I can just see sold. So I'm going to select done here. And before I even go to reports here and get all these comps or throw it into Excel, I might want to look at the comps analytics of these assets just to get a handle. So what was the average cap rate of these comps? Well, it's 5.2%. What was the average sale price per unit? $159,000. The average sale price of these multifamily properties was $36.5 million. These 11 comps represent sales of $402 million. And on average, they sold in 3.9 months from the time they were placed on the market. Key performance indicators: market rents, market cap rates, sales month volume, forecasting, tons of information here. So remember, this is comps analytics, right? So if I want to go back to the map, I want to do list view here, go back to the map, it's here. And this is one of the great things about CoStar. You see right here where it says save? I can save this search and name it anything I want. I can enable alerts and say, notify me every time a comp happens in this grid from now on. And I can even share this search with any other CoStar subscriber, be it a bank, an appraiser, or any other brokerage firm that has CoStar within my company or outside of my company. I love the alert notifications side of it. So this is how you would pull sold comps to do broker opinion of values or to educate your clients on how much their property is actually worth. Okay. Now I'm going to show you another end of this thing, because sold comps is great. And I don't want this to be just about buildings. We do this for land as well. So you can pull self-storage sold comps, multifamily, retail, office, flex, industrial. We do it all, even down to secondary type. You know, if you just want to do specific sold comp searches, show me all Dollar Generals that sold, show me all Arby's that sold, anything like that, we're tracking. So let's do this. I'm just going to select this first one and highlight the address. So I'm going to show you how to do a CoStar underwriting report, which is super easy. So someone, let's say the hypothesis here is someone comes to you and says, hey, I'm thinking about listing my property for sale. Can you tell me everything I should know about it and what you think it's worth? So it's as simple as this. You just look the property up and you click reports, full underwriting report, and it's going to give you everything. So if you didn't want to go into comps and start pulling your own reports, you can go and do a CoStar full underwriting report. And there's two ways to do it. You can say, CoStar, you run all the algorithms, or you can say, no, I'm going to use my own comp set, which is, in that case, you just hit the drop down, you choose your comp set, and it'll only pull the underwriting results based off of your comp set. Now, this may take 60 seconds to generate. It's going to be at least a 100-page underwriting report. And while that's running in the background, I just saw a quick question. How much of this is automatically populated by CoStar versus input by the listing agent? It is a mix. You really can't put something like that on it, Jennifer, because brokers, a lot of times they want it to be on CoStar and LoopNet, all of our other sites, and they're going to give us all the information. And we're going to ask them. Some brokers don't communicate with us very well, very few. So we are going to have all this information anyway. We've already got the public record. We already know where the property is. The only thing the broker would need to supply is it for sale or for lease, and what your contact information is. CoStar tracks all properties. We have public records information on all properties. So it's populated probably 90% of the information already, even before brokers provide anything. What we need from brokers is, do you represent it? Is it for sale or for lease? Do you have a flyer you want us to upload? Any other additional information you want us to show? Other than that, we've got all the other information. Where is it? What are they paying in taxes? Who's the current owner, et cetera. If you'll look here, this is a very, very large underwriting report. This is everything that's included in the report. Let me move this just a little bit. So it's a 144-page report. I'll make it just a little bit larger for you so you can see it. So this is a one-click, 144-page CoStar underwriting report on this property. This is what is included in it. It's obviously going to tell you about the subject property. Then we're going to give you rent comps in the area. Then we're going to give you construction info, what has sold, what is for sale, demographics, and we're going to give you our multifamily submarket report and our multifamily market report where it is located. A lot of information here. We're even going to give you the peer sets. Again, we own apartments.com, so we can give you the bed versus the bath versus the average square footage versus the number of units in that footprint, what the mix is, are there any available, what are they asking, etc. So we'll give you all the information about the subject property, and then we're going to break it down and give you the peer set and the comps. We're going to highlight the subject property in blue and give you the peer sets ranked by the rent square foot they're getting right now. And then we're going to do this for 3s, 2s, 1s, 1 unit bedrooms, and then everything about it. So a lot of information here. We could spend an hour just in the underwriting report, but it's really good information. And now you can understand how brokers are utilizing CoStar for values and for underwriting reports. So let's go back to the homepage, and I want to show you a few more things, and I want to take a little time to talk about LoopNet. So CoStar also does lease comps, right? If you're a tenant rep, one of the first things someone's probably going to ask you is, hey, I have that property you have recommended that I move into. Can you give me a feel for other tenants in the area and what they paid? So CoStar tracks lease comp. CoStar also tracks tenant information where you can go in and say, hey, who are the tenants in these buildings? Can you give me a sense of what they pay? Do they have a lease expiring? It's also good for landlord rep brokers. Analytics, I'm going to jump into because I want you to see our market and submarket reports, and then we'll go into public records. Real briefly, for those of you who are educated in the CMBS world, commercial mortgage-backed securities, I'm going to go into, well, click too soon. I'm going to go into South Carolina State, and I just want to show you something really quick. Bear with me. Let me take the state off so it comes up. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be every property in the state of South Carolina, whether it's for sale or for lease or not. And again, these are just commercial, right? I'm going to select filter right here. And you'll notice I can go to this loan tab right here. And I can say, show me properties that are performing and or are delinquent on their CMBS loan. So CMBS information is now included in CoStar, and you can see there's a lot of them. So what does that mean to you as a broker? Well, what it means to you as a broker is you can click into the information, the property, and see a little bit about the loan, and also see some information about the major tenants and what square footage they're in, and in many cases, as is information included with CMBS loan, is when that lease expires with those tenants. CMBS loan is really high-end information. There's certain brokers that really specialize in the CMBS loan market, and there's lots of information for you to see, including financials and information about the owner and information about the loan and information about the tenants. So a lot of good stuff for you here concerning the loan and the financials of what's being disclosed on these properties and on the loan. So to be a part of a CMBS loan, they have to periodically provide financials and information on the loan, which we have. All right, now, I want to go back and I want to talk to you about CoStar market reports and sub-market reports, which is going to be here. CoStar has economists and analysts. They're full-time employees of CoStar. They don't work for anybody else. They're not third party. They work for us. And every single night, we do a new market and sub-market report for every market and sub-market in the country. So if you want to just zoom in on the map and see what we're doing, I'll just zoom into South Carolina. And if you look here, I'm under multifamily market, right? So if I want to click the Columbia, South Carolina multifamily market report, it's right here, okay? We did this last night. We're going to do a new one tonight. We're going to tell you how many rentable apartments are there, what's under construction, what's the absorption, what's the vacancy, what's the average market rent. So all this information is in here, including 5-year forecast. This thing is loaded with information. Now, if I want to say, well, hey, I really don't want just all of the information. I really just want to say, well, how about show me what are the Class A stats? So I'm going to do that, in that case, a 4 and 5 star, which is going to be Class A. And then it's going to tell you how many units there are and all their information. So you can really sort this down, right? By different filters. You don't have to do it by multifamily. Remember, we're doing office, industrial, retail, student housing, and hospitality, which is hotels. If I zoom down into Columbia now, so I'm going to get off of multifamily. Now I'm going to go to hospitality, which is going to give me different info. But look at this. I can now do submarkets in any of these categories. And I can say, well, you know, I just want the Columbia West hospitality report for the submarket. And it's actually going to give me all the stats pulled from our STR acquisition. And it's going to tell me about the number of rooms, revenue per available room, ADR, year-to-date occupancy, etc. So you can have this report. It's all available in PDF format. You also can change the classification, right? And say, hey, I'm really only looking for luxury and upper upscale information in this submarket report. And if you look, we're going to change all the info and we're going to tell you what's going on, right? You can even do by brand, right? So if you look here and it'll tell you, you know, luxury +1, there's just not that much there in that submarket. It's only 218 rooms total. Probably don't want to use that. I'm probably going to add upscale so I can get a little bit more information instead of, see, now I went from 218 to 1,336. And you got to be careful when you're doing submarkets, right? Because if you're looking for Class A in a submarket, there may only be 1 or 2 luxury or upper end hotels in that area, and it's hard to pull analytics if you're just looking at one hotel. So use your filters wisely, but you can look for any property type, and you can look at the market and or the submarket level. You also can compare these markets against each other. And if you want to color code them, we can even make it easier. So if you want to color code the submarkets or just look for specific ones, we can give you the stats. And it's not, you can see who's doing the best. Well, North Charleston's doing the best. Even during COVID right now, a lot of vacationers going to North Charleston and the Charleston market in general. They're at 78.6% occupancy, which is really good because you can look, COVID really zapped them, zapped the whole world. They went from 8.3 on the low to 78.6. So a tremendous gain there. And we're glad to see that coming back. And then, of course, you can look by various line charts, other things, inventory in rooms, revenue per available room. You can even do bubble charts if you want to see a moving chart. And you can even see cumulative revenue per available room if you choose to do that. And instead of a 5-year, I'm going to go back to a 1 year, and you can see who's performing the best versus who's performing the least of the compared set that I chose in here. So you can compare markets against submarkets. Last thing I want to hit on is public record, and then we'll jump into the LoopNet side. So public record is not CoStar information. This is your local entity GIS information. However, there are CoStar filters in it, which oftentimes means it's easier to maneuver in CoStar for public records than it is to actually go to various entity sites, local entity, Charleston or Greenville, Myrtle Beach, Columbia, whatever. So I can do a filter because we purchased the rights to their GIS right here. And then I can say, what am I looking for? By the way, if you're ever using this for land, vacant is the filter for land. But if you want to sort it out and just say, hey, I'm looking for apartment, I'm looking for hospital, I'm looking for hotel, I'm looking for industrial, whatever you want to click, this is going to be a CoStar filter within your GIS. And then I can go in here and look at any property that I want to through GIS information, right? This is your GIS information. Sell and loan history on the property. You can click into it. I can see document, page and book number. Was it a resale? Seller, buyer? Was there a loan on the property? Here's the last sale and loan on the property, 2016. But this is one of the great things about CoStar is not just pulling the public record. I then can toggle into the CoStar information. So here's the CoStar information. There were 2 buildings. Here they are, both of them. And I can throw myself right back into the public record information. So GIS, CoStar. CoStar is most likely always going to have more information than you'll see on any public record site. So a lot of good info in here, a lot of ways for you to search using public records. So now it is 12:39. I want to talk to you about LoopNet. Okay, remember, a lot of people get confused on this. CoStar is for brokers, banks, REITs, appraisers. Okay, CoStar is not for the public. Think of it as a commercial MLS. It's for professionals only. You can have it. The public cannot. LoopNet. What is LoopNet? LoopNet is a marketing tool where brokers pay me a fee to put their listings on LoopNet so that the public can see it, right? So I'm sure you're all familiar with LoopNet. because 12 million people a month go to LoopNet. Brokers traditionally do not use LoopNet to do any kind of information searching, right? Anybody can go to LoopNet. This is LoopNet, okay? If you did this same search in CoStar, we'll have 3 times the amount of what you'll see in LoopNet. Why is that? This is paid marketing only. CoStar is every listing, not just paid, right? So LoopNet is a marketing service. 12 million tenants and investors a month go to LoopNet to do a search and contact these brokers. Again, you can see that 101 North Main with Blaine Hart with CB in Greenville, and 1001 Keys with Blaine. These are coming up first. It's because these are signature ads. They're paying to come up first. Blaine can go in and see all the metrics of the entities that looked at these properties for lease and get a lot of heads up, see, track emails to him, etc. But really it's about the exposure, the metrics that he's getting coming up first. And of course, if anybody clicks into it, they're going to be able to, in this particular instance, take a virtual tour, walk around like they're there, see who the owner is, see everything that's available, what they're asking, the 3D virtual tour, the property overview, the marketing brochure, aerials, and they're going to find out about Blaine and Charles and Shelby, who represent the asset, and also about the owner of the property. So LoopNet, again, is about marketing and it's about exposure, okay? Now, again, remember, if I do this same search in CoStar, all I did was office for lease, I'm going to get way more results. This is why brokers typically don't utilize LoopNet to find properties, because anybody can go here. Brokers are using CoStar to see the other 3 times more properties that aren't on LoopNet to educate their clients on exactly what they need to know. So LoopNet is a marketing exposure tool for brokers who want to advertise to the public. It is by far the largest and #1 website, right? If you put it on LoopNet, it goes on CoStar, it's on LoopNet, it's on Showcase, which CoStar owns. It's also on CityFeet, which CoStar owns. So it's going to be on all 4 of those sites. Unless, of course, you get a signature ad, which is one of these that come up first, which is retargeted on thousands of other websites as well, other than those 4 that I just mentioned to you. Many of you on this call today have LoopNet or have had LoopNet at some level, and we appreciate that. It is by far the #1 marketing portal and the most heavily used in the entire world for commercial real estate for sale or for lease. Okay, so CoStar is for professionals, for brokers. LoopNet is a marketing portal where you can see metrics of who looked at it, how many times they looked, what entities looked at it. And it's basically, all you want is exposure, tenants or investors seeing your properties, finding it on LoopNet, coming to you as the listing broker and saying, hey, I'm interested, so that you can close the deal. 1244, we're getting into the end here. What is LoopLink? LoopLink powers your listings on your website. This is the Greer EDC, the Greer Development Corporation, okay? If you're a broker and you get LoopLink with me, it's only going to pull up your properties. If you are a EDC, it's going to pull up other properties by other brokerage firms, and that this is an EDC site where anyone can go to this site. Now, we do not manage the website for the Greer EDC. We are only responsible for this portal here, where you can go in and do a filter for sale or for lease, and click on any property and see who represents it, marketing brochure, is it for sale, is it for lease, unless I do a filter, who should I call, mapping, etc. Okay, you can even do a report on it if you want to. Print it, or you can even share the link. So LoopLink, right, is powering your listings on your website. Now, if you are a broker, remember this is an EDC site. If you're a broker, we will not put other people's listings on here. It is only your listings. So it's the only thing that you can see. See, I'm going to show you just one that I know of off the top of my head. I have thousands of brokerage sites that utilize LoopLink. So if you look at this one and you click the listings link, now I can say, show me everything, or just show me the ones in Buncombe, or just show me the ones in Henderson, or show me all. These are only William Properties listings. So they're a brokerage firm. And again, I can click into any of these listings and same thing, print a report, see who the broker is, send the link out to anyone else, see anything and everything I want to do. So two different things. If you're a brokerage firm, we will only put your listings on your website for LoopLink. If you are a EDC, we'll put all on there. We do not do reciprocity. So again, it has to be your listing, not other people's listings, which is generally not a problem. Anyway, there's very few markets that do reciprocity in the state of South Carolina, I believe. Namely, Charleston comes to mind, which does do it, unless they've changed that rule recently. So it is 12:47. I'm going to open it up for questions now. I did see a couple in the chat. Okay, Jennifer responded on how much is populated. Are there any questions via the chat log that anyone would like to ask me about on CoStar or LoopNet? I'm available to respond to any. If I don't see any shortly, we'll stop the webinar. I do want everyone to have this. This is my contact information. This is my email address, and this is my cell phone. It's tforrest with 2 R's at CoStar.com. And you're welcome to call me on my cell phone anytime. It's 864-200-1000. Last chance, any questions? If not, we're going to end the webinar. We'll give it maybe 30 more seconds. I do want to thank everyone for their time. I do want you to contact me anytime that I can answer any question for you or assist you in any way about the services that we provide. And we look forward to our continued support. CoStar is a proud sponsor of the South Carolina Market Forecast event, which is Tri-Cities, which is Charleston, Columbia, and Greenville. We also support the CCIM South Carolina Institute as a statewide sponsor as well. We also sponsor SIOR at a national level. And there are many brokers here in South Carolina that also have the SIOR designation. So if I can help you in any way, I look forward to you getting in touch with me. Mike and Sharon, I want to thank you for allowing me the opportunity to present CoStar and LoopNet today. I hope you all have a great day, and I look forward to sharing more with you at a later date. Thanks, everybody.